The 2021 research findings from the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime reveal that out of the around 275 million people using drugs, over 36 million people suffer from drug use disorders in the world. These numbers are constantly growing even as the COVID-19 pandemic effects ramped up drug risks. Country representative of the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, Mr. Oliver Stoppel, disclosed that there was a drastic increase in the use of cannabis and pharmaceutical opioids in the country.
So we see, for example, that cannabis and non-medical use of pharmaceutical drugs, especially of pharmaceutical opioids, has increased most dramatically during COVID-19. And those two are also the drugs that are being most used in Nigeria to start with, even before the pandemic.
Mr. Stoppel revealed that women experience more stigmatization while accessing drug abuse treatment services, which has become an issue of concern. He listed out ways which the COVID-19 pandemic also affected drug users and their mode of operation, and how law enforcement agencies are also helping in the fight against illegal drug use.
One thing that we observed is that the individual shipments have increased in size. So we see less micro shipments and more large-scale shipments. We saw an increase in the use of private aircrafts. And that's, of course, a very important intelligence information for law enforcement to make sure that also private aircrafts are thoroughly inspected, and where there is intelligence suggesting that they might have been used for the purpose of drug trafficking, there is actually search of those aircrafts in order to make sure that that doesn't remain a blind spot in our collective response to drug interdiction.
Executive Director, Center for Research and Information on Substance Abuse, Professor Isidore Obot, said even though drug use is rising, there are science-based treatments available for those in need.
There are three things we can do that fall into the category of harm reduction. One is NSP, Needle and Syringe Program, where you give clean needles to people who inject drugs to prevent them from using contaminated needles. Opioid substitution therapy, which is the second strategy that we use that fits into the category of harm reduction. The third thing that is being considered in the country is to make naloxone, a drug known as naloxone, available to people who are suffering from overdose from drug use.
With the International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking around the corner, the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime is calling on individuals and organizations to share information on drugs in line with this year's theme, Share Facts on Drugs, Save Lives. Lois, Abba, Sambo, Television News.